So, okay, I'll go ahead and call to order. It's 6:30, and I will call to order the joint meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission and Overlay District Board for the July 5th, 2022 meeting. We do have a quorum present, and the first item on the agenda is for the oaths of office for the newly appointed and reappointed board members. I, Mary Ellen Nixon.
Albert French.
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of
Place
2,
Planning and
Planning and Zoning Commission
2025
of the City of Lewisville, State of Texas,
and
will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, and the charter and ordinances of this city. And furthermore, solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered or promised to pay, contributed nor promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward to secure my appointment. So help me God.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the selection of a chair, vice chair, and zoning board of adjustment representative. For the first office, may I have a motion for the selection of chair, please?
Move to appoint Mary Ellen Miska.
I second.
Okay, then a motion by Karen, second by Aram. All in favor? Are we doing voice votes tonight?
I'm trying to pull it up right now. Give me just a moment.
Okay.
I was able to sign in.
Well, you're up there.
You guys special. But Alvin should have been there.
No?
The reason I'm having difficulty is it's saying Aram is our only member here tonight on the system, which is incorrect. So I think we might have to do voice votes until we get this error
Okay.
corrected.
All right. So all in favor of Mary Ellen Mixa as chair, please select by stating aye.
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 All those opposed? Vote motion carries. And the next office is the vice chair. May I have a motion for vice chair, please?
Move to appoint Mary Ellen, excuse me, not Mary Ellen, Aram Ali.
Second.
I second.
Seconded by Alvin, motion by Karen for Aram as vice chair. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And finally, Zoning Board of Adjustment representative. Do I have a motion, please?
Oh, I'd like to nominate Francis for Zoning Board of Adjustment representative.
Motion by Aram.
Second.
Second by Karen. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the June 21st, 2022 joint meeting. If there are no additions or corrections to the minutes, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Alvin,
Second.
second by Aram. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a regular hearing for the final plat of Lakeside Crossing, a mixed-use development containing 202 townhome lots 2 mixed-use lots and 17 open space lots on 35.825 acres out of the P.K. Wagner Survey, abstract number 1342. It is zoned Planned Development Mixed-Use District, located on the west side of Interstate Highway 35E, the east side of McGee Lane, and the northern terminus of Summit Avenue.
Good evening, Commissioners. So staff has reviewed the submitted final plat. The preliminary plat did previously go before this board. We have identified numerous deficiencies that were listed in the memo and backup. Our recommendation tonight is that the Planning and Zoning Commission disapprove based on the deficiencies listed and delegate to staff the authority to approve when the deficiencies are corrected and bring back to the chair for signature.
Thanks, Michelle. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff on this item? If not, then may I have a motion, please?
Move to disapprove, delegate to staff for corrections, and return for signatures.
Motion by Karen.
Second.
Second by Aram. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item we have is a public hearing. This is the final plat of Tie Beam Ventures Incorporated, Edition Lot 1R, Block A, on 1.12 acres out of the John H. Halford Survey, abstract number 545, zoned local commercial district, located at 1175 Diane Circle, being a replat of the Family Medical Association, Block A, Lot 1 and Lot 1.
Good evening, Commissioners. The final plat of Tie Beam Ventures, Inc. Edition was submitted on June 6, 2022, and has been reviewed by staff. Staff recommends disapproval of the above plat with following reasons based on Chapter 6 of the Lewisville City Code of Ordinances. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission disapprove the final plat for the listed deficiencies and delegate to staff the authority to accept and approve the plat. Once the listed deficiencies are corrected, the approved plat will be brought to the chair for signature.
Thank you, Joe. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff on this item? Okay. At this time, I will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Having no one come forward, I will now close the public hearing. Commissioners, any discussion? If not, may I have a motion, please?
I move to disapprove the final plat for the deficiencies listed above and delegate to staff the authority to accept and approve once listed deficiencies are corrected.
Motion is by Aram. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alvin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing, consideration of a zone change request from Agriculture Open Space District to Light Industrial District on approximately 3.203 acres, legally described as Lot 1, Block A, VFW Edition, located at 997 State Highway 121 Business, as requested by Prestige Garage LLC, the property owner.
Good evening, Commissioners. The subject property, located at 997 State Highway 121 Business, is owned by Prestige Garage LLC. This property previously contained the Lewisville VFW facility. This was a legal non-conforming use and is since relocated. The applicant is proposing a zone change to light industrial to allow expansion of the existing Prestige Garage, which is located to the west of it, adjacent to this property. The AO district doesn't allow similar light industrial uses that are seen along 121 Business. Properties adjacent to the east and west of the subject property are zoned light industrial, so the zone change is consistent with those adjacent properties. Also, the 2025 plan designates this area as an employment center, and the LI zoning district meets this standard that they have set forth. And a zone change will allow Prestige Garage to expand, providing space for small businesses and new entrepreneurs. LI is the most appropriate zone district for an office warehouse use. Our recommendation is that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval for the zone change request. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Joe. At this point, do we have any questions for Joe on this item? Did we receive any notes from the public for the zoning change?
No, we did not.
No, we did not. Okay, all right.
My
right.
apologies, yeah.
At this point, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward, state your name, sign in. Having no one come forward, and I will now close the public hearing. Commissioners, is there any discussion before we vote on this? No?
No.
Okay. Then may I have a motion, please?
Move to approve the zoning change.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by
Robert?
Robert. Okay. And there's two voices I can't. I do the same thing down here. Sorry. Okay, Robert, second by Robert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
And you
opposed?
should be able to vote on the board now as well.
Okay. Except I can't get rid of that thing.
Can you?
I was able to.
Yeah, there's a message here that won't go away.
Just hit OK.
Oh, there, it finally did. I had been hitting it. Okay. All right, vote now then, please.
Commissioner Conway, I still don't see your vote popping up here. Ah, there you go.
Motion passes 6-0. And the next item is another public
Commissioners,
hearing.
this item will
Oh,
go
yes.
before the City Council on August 1st, 2022 for a second public hearing and a final decision.
Okay, great. Thank you, Richard. Okay. Next up, public hearing is a consideration of a special use permit for a plant nursery, retail sales with outdoor display or storage and building material sales with outside storage or display on approximately 1.355 acres, legally described as Lot 1, Block A, Heartland Industries Edition, located at 1280 South Stemmons Freeway, Zone General Business District, as requested by Daniel Alford, Bayman Construction LLC, on behalf of Joe W. and Patricia Devers, the property owners.
Good evening, Commissioners. I've got a location map and an aerial on the subject property above. You can see the site is mostly paved. It was previously a used car sales facility. The applicant is looking at reusing the existing structure and site for his business, Serval Sod. They have a location in Plano currently. This location would have a heavier focus on plant retail sales, but it would also supply some bulk goods and sod. So what he is proposing is a site plan that uses the existing layout of the site and the existing structure. It does limit the sod and bulk material items to 10% of the overall site, screening them from the highway point of view. They are going to be adding additional landscaping to the site, including additional trees along the street frontage. They are adding additional understory trees along Bennett Lane, additional canopy trees and shrubs along I-35E to kind of enhance the aesthetics of the site and also to promote the use as a landscape type company. With this, there are also 5 alternative standards that are requested from the Overlay District Board and City Council for the I-35 overlay. Many of those are to do with reusing the existing structure and then also working within the existing landscaping, and I'll get into more detail with those on the Overlay District Board meeting this evening. But staff is recommending approval of this specific use permit based on the improvements that are being made. In addition to these improvements, the applicant has agreed to remove the existing pole sign and at the expiration of the lease of the billboard that is on site, remove that billboard as well, which should be in 2025, and staff will set internal reminders to ensure that that compliance is met in 2025. For the existing structure, it is a modular structure, so the applicant is doing what he can to add stone and brick veneer to it. He is adding about 14 inches up from the bottom of stone veneer. Any farther than that, and the existing building would not support the weight of the material. So that's why it's a wainscot just along the bottom of the building. He is, however, painting the building. It's currently a very bright blue color. He is painting it a more neutral green with a beige trim just to tone that down just a little bit. There are also a lot of existing blue concrete barriers that ring the perimeter of the site that were used by the car dealership. Those will all be removed as well. So overall, staff does believe it will be an enhancement to the site without preventing potential further redevelopment in the future.
Thank you, Michelle. Are there any questions for Michelle at this point? Okay. At this time, I will go ahead and open the public hearing on this item. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward, state your name, and sign in for us.
Good evening, David Bond with Spires Engineering, 765 Custer Road in Plano, here on behalf of the applicant tonight. I'm excited about this project and been working with staff for almost a year now to get this to a point, and we're proud to say we have their recommendation for your recommendation for approval this evening. Be happy to answer any questions you have. We also have Mr. Daniel Alford, the proposed property user. He's also the current lessee, if you have any questions about operations or anything of that nature. Again, though, we're excited to have a staff recommendation for approval tonight and be happy to answer questions you all may have.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? I think it's going to be a very nice addition to that corner spot off of 35, and they're certainly in keeping with the overlay that we're trying to achieve there. I think we've got a nice project there.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Okay, having no one else come forward, I'll go ahead now and close the public hearing. Commissioners, any discussion? Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve.
Motion by Aram.
Second.
Second by Alvin. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, Commissioners. This item will go to City Council on July the 15th.
Okay,
18th, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It will go to City Council on Monday, July the 18th.
18. Okay. All right, the final item for the Planning and Zoning Commission is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Alvin,
Second.
second by Aram. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. We are adjourned. I'd like to call to order now the Overlay District Board. We do have a quorum present. The first item is the selection of chair and vice chair. May I have a motion on the chair, please?
I move to appoint Mary Ellen Miska as chair of our overlay board.
Motion by Aram. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Karen. All in favor, say aye. All right, so we could vote. I forgot. I'm all confused. Don't confuse me. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you all. And for vice chair, I would like to nominate Aram Ali for vice chair.
Second.
Second by Karen. All in favor? Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Consideration approval of the minutes of the May 3rd, 2022 joint meeting with the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Transportation Board. And if there are no additions or corrections to those minutes, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is by Alvin.
I'll second.
Who was that?
Robert?
Robert again? I'm sorry. I'll learn your voice. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. Next item is the regular hearing, is consideration of 5 alternative standards associated with a proposed plant nursery retail sales with outside display or storage building material sales with outside storage or display on approximately 1.355 acres legally described as Lot 1, Block A, Heartland Industries Addition, located at 1280 South Stemmons Freeway, zoned General Business District as requested by Daniel Alford, Bayman Construction LLC, on behalf of Joe W. and Patricia Devers, the property owners.
Good evening, Commissioners. So we spoke briefly about the overall project a few minutes ago at the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'll just go over the 5 alternative standards briefly. The first is to allow the existing windows and doors to remain in lieu of the 40% windows and doors required by the overlay. This is an existing prefabricated metal building, so cutting in too many openings can be detrimental to the structure. They do have, and they're existing today, some patterning that kind of mimics the window rhythm a little bit, where they've got sort of a frame for what might have been a window, I guess. So they're requesting that alternative standard. They're also requesting to allow a stone veneer around the skirt of the building to about 14 inches above the finished floor in lieu of the 80% masonry required by the overlay district. This is again based on the fact that it's an existing prefabricated structure and cannot support the weight of that much stone or brick on the building. They are asking for a third architectural alternative standards to allow 1 new awning over the main entry as opposed to 75% over the street-facing facade as required by the I-35 overlay. So the way the existing structure is situated on the lot is a little bit askew to Bennett Lane. The primary entrance that patrons will be using is north-facing towards the parking lot and where all the plant storage and display will be. That's also where the handicap entrance is, so that's where they're placing their awning and they're accentuating that entrance to the building. They do have an entrance on the south side of the building as well, however, it's not the primary entrance. They're not really proposing to add an awning over that entrance at this time. The fourth alternative standard is to landscaping, which is to allow the required parking lot trees to be planted elsewhere on site in lieu of the locations that are required by the I-35 overlay. So they are not proposing to cut in parking lot islands, but rather plant their 3 required parking lot trees adjacent to the parking lot on the east side of the site, so that they'll still provide some shade for the parking lot area. The intent in the I-35 to have 1 shade tree per every 8 parking spaces is so that they're evenly distributed and we can reduce the urban heat island effect, shade the concrete, and prevent the overheating of the area. So they will be planting those 3 trees as close as they can to the parking along the east side where it's already existing turf, that they can get those in there. In addition, some of the trees along 35 won't be spaced at the exact 40-foot on center because there are existing mature trees in some locations. So they will be planted a little bit off that 40-foot on center just to make sure that they have healthy spacing for those trees to grow. But they are providing more trees than are required, as well as additional shrubs and ornamental grasses to enhance the landscaping aesthetic from I-35. And then the last alternative standard is to allow the outside storage along I-35 instead of behind the building. And this is based on the existing location of the building at the very south portion of the site. If you're on Bennett Lane, the storage is behind the building, but from I-35 it is not. So that's just based on the existing site configuration. The applicant did orient their storage bins so that they back to I-35, so that that will be a wall that's decorative and softened by a large Nellie R. Stevens and then a second row of plantings to kind of reduce the impact of that aesthetic. So you'll have canopy trees, you'll have large shrubs, and then small shrubs and grasses to kind of reduce the impact. In addition, they do have a 15-foot wide landscape buffer, which is greater than the 10-foot buffer required. So staff has no objection to any of these alternative standards and is recommending that the Overlay District Board recommend approval of alternative standards A through E to the City Council. All of these alternative standards do require City Council approval.
Commissioners, are there any questions? concerns? Okay. If not, may I have a motion, please? May I have a motion, please? Anybody?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Alvin,
Second.
second by Aaron. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0.
Commissioners, these alternative standards are scheduled for the City Council meeting on July the 18th, where the City Council will consider final approval of these standards in conjunction with the SUP.
Okay, thank you, Richard. The final item for this evening is adjournment of the Overlay District Board. May I have a motion for adjourn, please?
Motion.
Motion by Ryan, or is that Robert?
It's Ryan.
Ryan, I thought so. Yeah, they just wrote Robert here.
He had
It was
he
Ryan.
had to get one
Had to
in
get
before
one.
it ended, so.
I was reading Ryan, or Robert, and hearing Ryan. We'll get it.
Second.
Second by Alvin. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. We are adjourned.